The world is no stranger to the heartbreak of losing loved ones to incurable diseases, leaving families and friends feeling helpless and lost. Professor Kanji Yakutani knows this pain all too well. As a dedicated researcher at Tokyo University, he has spent his entire career striving to advance medical knowledge and find cures for the most stubborn diseases. But despite his tireless efforts and unwavering dedication, even the doctors have given up on some of his patients. Although his unwavering work ethic ultimately leads to his passing, for Professor Yakutani, death was not the end, but rather a new beginning, a chance to pursue his dreams with renewed vigor. Before we begin, follow if you want to zap into the latest anime trends and hit the subscribe button so you never miss any update from us. The story begins with a pharmaceutical representative who compliments our MC, Professor Kanji Yakutani's work, but also expresses worry about his long working hours. During one particularly long work session, Professor Kanji experiences dizziness but brushes it off with some energy bars and a drink. As he eats, he sees a photo of his younger sister who died of a brain tumor when he was a child. Her innocence and trust in him, when she asked about taking medicine, haunts him still. He vows to find a way to save others from the same helplessness he felt when she died. Professor Kanji's relentless drive and dedication to his work finally take a toll on his body, and he passes away in his sleep. But as his soul drifts into the void, something unexpected happens. Suddenly, he is jolted awake in the body of a young boy named Pharma. The boy's surroundings are unfamiliar to him, and he has no memory of how he got there. As he tries to make sense of his new surroundings, he is approached by a young maid named Charlotte. She explains that Pharma's family has served as doctors to the royal family for generations, and that young Pharma himself is well versed in the divine arts of creating medicines, which is a rare skill possessed only by nobles. When Charlotte expresses her concern about Pharma's lack of awareness of his position, Pharma tricks Charlotte and attributes his unawareness to unexpected amnesia affecting his memory. Pharma is understandably confused and overwhelmed by all of this information. He has no recollection of his life up until that point or his family's legacy, and he struggles to come to terms with his new identity. Pharma quickly delves into his magical capabilities and realizes that he possesses the aptitude to generate all elements on the periodic table using his right hand and erase them using his left hand. His excitement at this newfound power is tempered by a growing sense of unease as he realizes the potential danger of such an ability. Despite his reservations, Pharma is eager to learn more about the limits of his powers and accompanies Charlotte to the library to brush up on his medical knowledge. His father enjoys quizzing him on various medical topics, and Pharma impresses him with his depth of understanding. Under the guidance of his tutor Eleanor, Pharma delves deeper into the 5 major classes of divine arts, learning about the various types of magic and their practical applications. Although Eleanor insists that it's impossible to create or erase elements, Pharma's abilities suggest otherwise. As Pharma unleashes an immeasurable amount of water and demonstrates his divine eye, which can detect all illnesses, Eleanor becomes increasingly overwhelmed. When she realizes that Pharma doesn't have a shadow, she panics and flees the scene. Despite the unexpected reaction of his tutor, Pharma remains fascinated by the extent of his powers and eager to explore their full potential. However, he can't help but wonder about the potential consequences of wielding such incredible magical abilities. Following his father's request, Pharma prepares the medicine himself and sets out to visit his ill tutor. Despite feeling unwell and scared, she agrees to resume her role as Pharma's tutor. As the incarnation of Panic Theos, Pharma is aware of the importance of mastering the divine arts, and he is eager to learn. Eleanor recognizes the benevolent nature of Panic Theos and decides to teach him. Pharma's divine eye reveals that the household servants are unwell, and he uses his powers to heal them. This experience teaches Pharma the value of making medicine accessible to everyone, regardless of their social status. Later, Pharma's father warns him to stay away from his sister, who has contracted chickenpox. Nevertheless, Pharma secretly administers modern medicine to her, resulting in a speedy recovery. Pharma makes a vow to keep his divine eye a secret, and he entrusts his sister Blanche to honor his wish. In his quest for knowledge, Pharma creates a pocket-sized microscope to augment his divine eye's capabilities, which is an incredible feat of innovation. Bruno summons Pharma to accompany him to the royal palace to visit Empress Elizabeth, whose health is critical. Upon arriving, they find the palace filled with important people, all aware of the Empress's dire condition. Bruno uses magic to examine her blood and consults with an astrologist, concluding that she will likely pass away the following night because of her disease dubbed as White Death. However, when the Empress herself asks if she will recover, Bruno lies and says that his medicine will work. Pharma uses his divine eye to diagnose the Empress with lung cancer and tuberculosis. Knowing that time is short, he gives up on her treatment. The Empress's son interrupts Pharma's decision, and he asks her permission to prepare the medicine. Although Bruno tells him that there is no cure for White Death, Pharma remains insistent that his medicine will work and asks Bruno to take it as well since he is also suffering from the disease. Bruno gets furious and tries to attack him but is surprised when Pharma stops his attacks without incantation. Pharma shows Bruno his journal, containing numerous medicines he created after being struck by lightning, and Bruno realizes that his son was blessed with medical revelations. Pharma eventually shows the existence of the bacteria that was causing the Empress's illness, which changes the way they view illnesses. The Empress agrees to take Pharma's medicine, and she begins to recover. On their way back home, Bruno wonders if he has failed as a parent and a doctor, but Pharma reassures him that he still needs his guidance to learn how to be a doctor, even with his powers. Bruno accepts his son's sentiment and takes the medicine to cure his own White Death, which is none other than the tuberculosis. Later, Pharma expresses his desire to make the knowledge of the cure public, but Bruno cautions him to be careful as it could be viewed as heresy by many. Bruno even considers the possibility that someone intentionally introduced the White Death to the palace to assassinate the Empress, but Pharma disagrees, as the germ's 10% infection rate isn't effective for assassination. This makes Bruno proud of his son's analytical skills. Subsequently, Pharma has a chance to be granted any reward of his choosing by the Empress. He seizes the opportunity to propose opening his own pharmacy that treats all people equally. The Empress approves his request, although she expresses concerns about her own ability to rule due to her health. Pharma reassures her, reminding her of the importance of her leadership. After several months of hard work and dedication, the Empress has finally made a full recovery. To show their gratitude, the royal family holds a grand ceremony in honor of Pharma and Bruno, the ones responsible for her miraculous recovery. During the ceremony, Bruno is recognized for his exceptional skills as a pharmacist and for raising such an outstanding apprentice. In recognition of his accomplishments, Pharma is promoted to the prestigious position of royal pharmacist. As part of his new role, he is also given permission to open his own pharmacy. With the help of skilled professionals, Pharma sets out to build his dream pharmacy. It takes days of planning, hard work, and dedication, but eventually, the parallel world pharmacy comes to life. The name was inspired by an overheard remark by one of the workers, who said that Pharma's pharmacy was like a gateway to a parallel world of healing and health. However, Pharma faces opposition from the head of the Pharmaceuticals Guild, who attempts to belittle his pharmacy. Eleanor stands up to the head of the guild, and Pharma hires his 9-year-old assistant, Charlotte, and his father's accountant, Cedric, who is retired by Bruno. Bruno also provides a substantial sum of gold to help Pharma get started. Overall, Pharma is grateful for his father's support and the opportunity to fulfill his dream of opening a pharmacy that treats all people equally. Running a business may seem easy, but during the first month, the pharmacy hardly has any customers. After Charlotte conducts a survey, Pharma and his team realize that the commoners are intimidated by the pharmacy and are afraid of being punished for any mistakes. To alleviate this fear, Pharma decides to display the medicine prices outside the store. This helps attract a return customer, an old sailor named Jean who comes to buy sweets for his scurvy. Later, Pharma's parents, who have tried to disguise themselves, visited the pharmacy. After expressing concerns about the lack of customers, his mother suggests that they sell cosmetics. However, Bruno warns about the dangers of face powder containing lead. Soon the pharmacy attracts a noble named Chloe. She had suffered from anemia after trying to turn her skin pale through bloodletting to impress her preferred partner. Pharma assures Chloe that there are better ways to achieve paler skin than resorting to self-destructive methods. He creates a special cream that not only lightens the skin but also moisturizes and protects against sunburns. Chloe is pleasantly surprised and, being the daughter of a famous magnate, uses her father's influence to spread the word. Soon, commoners start showing up at the parallel world pharmacy, not just for cosmetics but also for affordable medicine. However, with business booming, pharma finds it difficult to balance both medicine and cosmetics. Chloe proposes a solution. She will establish a subsidiary that specializes in cosmetics while pharma can focus on medicine. As a result, many female pharmacists who had lost their jobs due to having children are rehired. Pharma thanks them and pledges to implement policies like maternity leave. The female pharmacists are pleased with their new boss and feel they made the right choice. Empress Elizabeth becomes aware of pharma's cosmetics and immediately bans other lead-based products, using her considerable influence to ensure that only pharma's cosmetics are used. She also advises other shops to switch to using pharma's cosmetic recipes. However, she cautions him not to raise his prices too low, so as not to drive away the commoners' businesses. Pharma takes her advice to heart and decided to implement it. After the meeting with the important people, Pharma, Charlotte, Eleanor, and his younger sister Blanche go to the beach to have fun. Pharma remembers a time when he was at the beach with his younger sister, and he had to keep her from going into the sea. Unfortunately, she never had the chance to swim. As they are playing, Blanche is swept away by an ocean tide. Pharma immediately dives into the ocean to rescue her, but the waves are too strong. In desperation, he activates his powers, which create a massive hole in the ocean, allowing him to save Blanche. This surprises and startles Eleanor and Charlotte, as he has done something theoretically impossible. Pharma realizes later that he could have erased the water inside the bodies of Blanche, Charlotte, and Eleanor instead of just the seawater. Unbeknownst to him, a witness had already reported the incident to the Holy Diocese, who ordered that any boy without a shadow should be executed. When two cloaked priests appear to be watching him at the pharmacy, Pharma becomes suspicious. The next morning, his pharmacy is attacked by a horse-drawn carriage full of mud. Bruno deduces that someone is targeting Pharma specifically. Fortunately, Sailor Jean and his crewmates help him clean up the damage. However, Pharma has to leave when a woman arrives, claiming that her father needs medical attention, which is, unfortunately, a trap. Follow if you want to zap into the latest anime trends and hit the subscribe button so you never miss any update from us.